the majority of people believe that defense is based on what they're reacting to in the moment, when that's actually not true. Real defense is pattern-based recognition. So your head movement should already be built to do slip left, slip right, roll. Slip right, slip left, roll. Build your head movement around left, right, left, right, left, right, because 90% of people only throw left, right, left, right, left, right. I'm not saying everyone, because obviously there are good fighters who double up on the same side. And that's the way that you beat pattern-based recognition defense. But most fighters are not doing that. So if you want to have good head movement, just train slip, slip, roll. Slip, slip, roll. Used to left, right defense. And also, to be safe, instead of just moving your head, move your feet with it. Don't just move your head in one spot, because regardless of how good your defense is, regardless of how good your head movement or your blocking may be, if you don't move your feet, it's Russian roulette at the end of the day. Eventually, something's going to land. Whereas when you move your feet, you cause them to not be as stable and balanced when they're throwing their punches. So even if something does land, it's not going to be as impactful as it would have been if they were stationary. How often do you lift weights in a week? I lift weights twice a week. I'm very minimal right now with my weightlifting, just because I'm not focused on like competing or anything like that. Right now, I'm just doing the content creation stuff right now. So I lift on Mondays and Saturdays, and I do hard cardio on Wednesdays. And then I train once a week right now on Fridays. You still go to Hotworks? Yeah. Yep. I go to Hotworks every Wednesday. I go to Hotworks to do my cardio. Yo, what should I do if I'm skinny with low stamina? If you're skinny, you have to work out more and eat way more protein, so that way you could build muscle mass. Most people think that they're going to be able to put on muscle just by working out, when that's actually not true. If you want to put on muscle mass, and I'm not saying you need muscle mass to be a fighter, because you don't, but if you just want muscle mass for whatever reason, maybe you want to move up a weight class, you just want to look better for whatever reason, you need to be eating way more. You need to be putting in protein, like crazy amounts of protein. I know they recommend about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, but you can bump that up to 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And if you do that every single day, you have no choice but to get bigger. But that takes a lot of discipline, because in my opinion, I think it's harder to gain weight than it is to lose weight. Losing weight is easy. You just don't eat. But gaining weight, you have to eat when it's not comfortable. Eat when you don't feel like it. Eat when you're already full. That's not fun. And then imagine trying to train on top of that. Really difficult. I have a Hotworks right by my house. What should I get started with? I do Hot Blast personally. So a Hot Blast is basically like an assault bike. I use this assault bike at Hotworks. And what Hotworks is pretty much has these saunas inside this building. And then inside the saunas, there's assault bikes in them. So I'm doing my hard cardio, my sprints inside of a sauna. The sauna goes up to about 130 degrees. So that way, like, some days you're in really, your heart is just, tip-top shape. It's just performing. Well, if your heart is not being pushed to the limit, you're definitely getting pushed to the limit with the heat. Some days the heat is not really getting to you, but then your heart is getting to you. So it's really good because you get that heat acclimation with the cardio and heart rate pounding. And this is something that most people don't know about. I have yet to meet another athlete who ever talks about this, but people don't understand that cardio is not just about energy management, and it's not just about being conditioned. Cardio actually has a heat acclimation component to it. Your ability to thermoregulate heat throughout your body is a major key. If you can't process heat, even if you're in really good shape, you're going to burn out once you're in a high stake situation. Because sometimes, for example, you ever notice when you're grappling or when you're sparring, your head feels hot and it just feels like it's pulsating, and like the heat is just like trapped in your head? Well, what happens is when you heat acclimate more, which is basically training the heat, you want to train in over 100 degrees. When you train in this kind of heat, your body starts to get used to being in the heat, and your body starts to make adaptation. So now your body starts to produce more plasma, which helps you deal with heat better. Your body starts to preserve more salt while sweating more water. So instead of just sweating straight water and salt and getting dehydrated faster, your body preserves the salt so you can sweat more and not dehydrate as fast. So your body starts coming up with a lot of these adaptations to help you deal with heat a lot better. You start sweating sooner, you can sweat longer while losing less sodium. So it's really important that you get a heat acclimation training routine. And you don't have to do your cardio in the sauna. You could just visit a sauna maybe once or twice a week to build that heat acclimation. So that way, not only are you conditioned, but you're ready to fight and be hot and be in these harsh situations without feeling like you're panicking. Because that's another thing. It's not only that you're going to be overheated, but what happens is when you're super hot, you start to panic. This doesn't feel good. This isn't fun. But when you're used to training in the heat all the time, you're like, I'm comfortable. This is normal for me. This is not anything new. I'm used to being hot. I'm used to being in this type of heat. So yeah, man, that's a third major key to cardio. It's not just energy management. It's not just being conditioned. It's heat acclimation. Use your heat acclimation training to build your heat resistance, to build your ability to train in the heat and sweat less sodium, sweat more water, reserve your sodium, sweat sooner, sweat longer. And it also prepares you to cut weight. Because when you cut weight, guess what you have to do? You have to go into a sauna, spend a lot of time in there. But when you're always training in the sauna all the time, now you're comfortable. You're used to this. Okay, it's time for me to cut weight. I'm used to being hot. I'm not going to panic in this situation. This is normal for me. Biggest lesson you learned in fight camp. I've been through so many camps and so much training. It's hard for me to even think about what's the biggest lesson I learned. I think one of the most important things that a person can figure out is it's a mental aspect. The majority of athletes think that performing is all about the physical side, when I think 90% of your performance is mental. If you can't go in that ring and be composed while at the same time working very hard to get the victory, you're going to fail. But it's hard to find that balance. Like, how do you develop that balance between, yes, I'm calm, but yes, I'm still going to work? Because where people go wrong is it's like they're calm, so they don't work hard, or they're not calm and they do too much. They go crazy in there. You have to find a balance. Yes, I'm calm, but yes, I work hard. And the best thing that I would say that you can do to develop this is to watch fighters who work very hard and that are composed and just mimic their facial expressions. Because the facial expression of composure is nothing, right? It's like a blank face. Whereas when you show your emotions on your face, your body tends to follow suit. So if your face looks panicked, your body's going to panic. If your face is relaxed and calm, your body's going to be relaxed and calm. Or if you're like somebody like Marab, he's super excited, your body's going to be amped up. So you either want to be composed or excited, but you don't want to express any negative types of emotions because your body's just going to follow that. You don't want to be in that type of state. So mastering the mental side of fighting it's very difficult, but if you can do it, you'll be amongst one of the best, because the best people, they're not only good because they can fight well, but they can perform well. Why? Because they've unlocked the mental side. Some people that never really did well with mental would be like Donald Cerrone. He always had trouble in high pressure situations. Whenever it was a high stakes fight, he would fold, he would melt. Why? Because for whatever reason, he never really got to master the mental side of things, which is why you never really seen him as a champ or anything like that. The best people have to have their mental side down pat. How many times do we have to do knuckle push-ups for our wrists in a week? I just got into knuckle push-ups just because my wrist actually got hurt in grappling not too long ago, but it definitely helps because when you're doing regular push-ups, there's a lot of pressure on your wrists. I feel like when you do those knuckle push-ups, your wrist is more stable and you work more of your triceps. So I've been doing them lately and I think I'm going to stick to them just because I think it helps with your arms more. When you do push-ups with just your hands, I feel like it works more of your chest. Whereas when you do them on your knuckles, it definitely gets the tries better. My man said he has to take a poop during a fight. What should he do? Man, use the bathroom before you fight. What do you want me to tell you? You keep asking that. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off. Have a good night.